It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was
What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Texas to Tennessee podcast. We have a returning guest, Mr. Jarrod Morris. Thank you for hopping back on, man.
What's up, y'all?
He's got some big things coming up in the next couple days. We're going to help kind of spread the news, spread the word, the good word about that. So
Yeah, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
no problem, no problem. So the whole reason for Jarrod hopping on, he's got a new album coming out in 2 days on the 10/10 called Day Money. Um, got a handful of singles out already. I guess we can go over those that you've got already. You got, what is it? Rodeo Pay, 20 somethings, and Kick Rocks. Um, at your shows, which one of those is kind of, have you noticed the most feedback on, or the most reaction from?
I mean, like Kick Rocks is like a well done song, and like the guitar parts just super jamming and very anthemic. But Rodeo Pay, for whatever reason, I don't know. I haven't like written a lot of music that I feel the irresistible urge to like almost act it out on stage, you know.
Okay.
But it's such a story song, and it's like funny and fun that I just like can't but help kind of act it out. And that's usually the one that like older people don't really jive with a lot of this new stuff that I'm doing. They definitely probably missed the grunge thing.
Understand.
They missed the punk thing. But even like some of my stuff, this new stuff definitely has like a vintage throwback rock and roll thing to it. So, hopefully they like that. But honestly, it's just not really for your grandparents. It's not your grandparents' country music, which is like the opposite of what most people are trying to do. They're just, in my opinion, most people are wanting to go for that throwback traditional country sound, which is cool. I dig that. I've done some of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not where I'm at right now. It's not my headspace. So, like, when your grandma don't like my music, it makes sense. And it's not for her.
I'll
So,
do it. I'll test that out this weekend. I'll get back with you on
if
that.
you get them to listen to the lyrics and the melody, they might actually like it, but it's probably just a little too aggressive.
the The odd part about it is if you were doing an acoustic show, they would probably actually pick up on it even more
Yeah,
than
maybe so.
full
Maybe so.
band.
Yeah, maybe.
Um,
Like Robert Earl Keen meets Weezer.
Definitely, especially Rodeo Pay. That's
Yeah.
definitely a shout out to Weezer right
But I
there.
mean, like, even I got a song called Single Side on there, Single Side of a Double Wide. And that guitar tone and stuff, that's Dire Straits. So that's like old school rock and roll. It's got some ZZ Top in there. But then it's got that anthemic sort of, it's got like a drum thing, sort of like more like indie rock, like the Black Keys. But then the song, like that's what we didn't really know what to do with it, so we just went with something that we thought was cool and unique. But you could have made that song just a straight up Dwight Yoakam song, and that's kind of how I wrote it too. Was like
Hmm.
a honky tonk man barn burner type, or like Fast as You barn burner type deal. And we'd even put like some fiddle on it and like sort of honky tonked it a little bit more. But it was just like, okay, well, we've already heard this before like a million times, so it's like let's do something unique with it. And
I,
I
I
think
was
I
going to
think we
ask
nailed
that.
it.
Kind of
So.
how did you decide to to change those after you know, I'm sure you got in the studio and did your thing and then listened to it back and just decided to go a different direction.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was in real time because like we cut all this stuff like live, just with a rhythm section. So it would be like bass, drums, and guitar, and you'd figure some of that stuff out like in the moment. It's just like, dude, I mean, this is cool, but like, where I'm not really interested in just copying something that's already happened. That's never gotten me excited. I'm not a tribute band. I'm not a an impersonator. So let's do something that let's like collide a bunch of worlds. So once you like throw out the idea of like trying to sound like something, and you just are a little bit open to wherever it's going to go, I think like your true, like the real inspiration and the real uniqueness and all of the influences that you've had throughout the course of your life, I think that'll start to come out. Um, yeah, and I'm just really not interested in like feeding people what I think they want to hear.
Well, to be honest, man, I mean, there's tons of people that listen to, country music and also Weezer and whatever else, you know what I mean? Me and you are
That's the
prime
dirty little
examples of
secret,
that, you
man.
know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm tapping into. Like rodeo cowboys and people in that world, farmers, ranchers, like a lot of them, they're out on a tractor. I mean, sure, we listen to a lot of country, and it's sort of the backdrop of our lives, just because of geographically where we live. We know every song, um, but it's been done a lot, and I can't do like 90s or 80s country better than the guys that did it. I can't really find a super unique way of doing it. What hasn't been done is some of these more like grungy punk um, sounds, but written from like a little bit more of a cowboy perspective,
Mhm.
and like some of those anthems. And to be honest, it's what like Chris Ledoux was coming out of those like rock anthems and the arena rock thing,
Yeah.
and like even some of the tones and stuff that he was going for isn't something that I particularly like.
But it wasn't
Because I
cowboy,
wouldn't really.
or it
What's that?
wasn't cowboy.
Uh,
As far
I
as
don't even.
the guitar tones and things like that, I guess is what I mean. And the songs were,
Well,
but
but see, that's the thing is like
understand.
when you're going down the rodeo trail, like most of those guys were listening to like the hair
Exactly.
bands.
Exactly.
They were jamming out and rocking. Like, I'm sorry, you're not listening to Amarillo by Morning before you get down on a
Get up.
bucking horse or a bucking bull. It's just not happening. It's not to say I just love it how people. It's got to be like so one or the other. Like, it's like yes, that can be a part of your whole thing, and I love that stuff. But it's just not me, and it's not what I want to do. I want to tap into the energy and the ethos that Ledoux was doing, but just in a more modern context. Like use because I was raised on some like punk and grunge with the backdrop of all the Texas country
Hmm.
songwriting and everything. So it's like let's bring all that together.
So, do you think that this probably is both, but do you think that sound is felt more like home in the studio, or were you thinking about when I go play this full band, I get to have that sound on stage as well? Was
I
that
think
part of the
both.
plan? Both.
I
Yeah.
think both. Yeah, I mean, playing live so much, and you see what music is such a communal thing, and I've never really been into the idea of like getting on stage and I'm just going to be the brooding songwriter, and you need to sit there and shut up and be quiet, and even if you don't like it, you need to have a good time because this is my art. Like that's a weird energy to me, and it's necessary at times, like to have that seriousness.
Right.
But like I, the whole reason I got into music initially was playing the guitar, and I loved the blues, and I grew up on like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Albert King and ZZ Top and all that type of stuff, Allman Brothers. Um, but I've never been able to explore that because I haven't had the time in the studio, and I haven't had a lot of the players to like arrange songs with.
Gotcha.
So it's always been like I just have my acoustic guitar, I'm on my own, like let's write some songs. So it always kind of ended up being more like folk songs, folk rock or whatever. And then
Folk and
now that I
rock.
have the ability to like have a studio, jam with some people, then some of that more guitar driven, riffy stuff, bluesy stuff can come
Hmm.
out, which is what I want to do in the live show as well.
It definitely makes sense, but with you having the boys on stage with you, and being able to, the right mix, and being able to being comfortable playing all those
Yeah.
things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, we
But I
talked about.
understand it's not for everybody. I'm not like, it's the first time I've put out music that when somebody says, like, I don't like this, I'm like, yeah, 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 totally. And it doesn't even bug me.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
like,
you
yeah, yeah, it's
don't.
not for you. But
Yes, that's
before,
what I was.
other stuff I've put out, it's like, even people that maybe didn't like love it, they'd be like, yeah, I mean, it's good. Yeah, it's good. I think he's good. Now it's like a little bit more black and white, which excites me because there's a somebody like really not liking something usually means that there's a flip side. Like obviously, if
Yeah,
something's just terrible, but I'm not worried about that necessarily. Uh, but usually there's a flip side to people just like hating something. That usually means there's some people that are like really excited about it. So
definitely, definitely. If someone's passionate about it, one way or the other, like you said, there's going to be that other side. Um, I mean, one of my favorite things about your music, and I'm sure I know a handful of other people that we've had this conversation, is just the variety. That now I'm sure, like you said, part of it was necessary because of where you were at and the band you had at the time or didn't have at the time, and studio time and this and that. But I mean, you went from a Foo Fighters covers to Rihanna to cowboy songs to where you're at now. Which I mean, I think why I like it is because I think it's what you're wanting to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I
Totally.
don't, it doesn't have to fit in a mold for me. Like if I can tell that's what you're digging, then you know.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. It's not the smartest move, like for career development or marketing, but whatever. The cream rises to the top. I try to approach it like, what would I like if I was sitting around with a bunch of people at a campfire, like my buddies and stuff. Like, if I was just sitting around and wanting them to show stuff that I thought was cool, I wouldn't be thinking about like, oh, well, how does this fit into my brand? Or like, how does this, I would just be wanting to show them something that we could all enjoy that they'd be like, dude, that's badass. And if you just distill it down to that and just get rid of all the other, BS, then I think you can end up coming up with some pretty cool stuff. And I think that's the way people listen to music. And I would rather at the end of my life, I mean, whatever, I'm like probably not going to be a household name, but at the end of my life, uh, it would be cool to just know that like whenever I put out music, you're just gonna get like me, and then you're gonna get my uniqueness or my take on the music of whatever it is. Not necessarily like me trying to do something else or like trying to be something to present to you and hopefully you like it. It's like, you know, I treat it more like a guitar pull around the campfire where it's like I played something and maybe not everybody likes it, but everybody could agree that they have like a certain level of respect for it where it's like, oh yeah, he's just unique. I don't know, he just does his own thing. I find that to be more inspiring than just like, wow, he sounds exactly like Keith Whitley. Like,
But
we had Keith Whitley. I don't. Are you an impersonation? I don't understand. Whatever.
I understand that. I understand the attraction to that, but I also understand from an artist point of view why that puts you in a box, and most people do not want to be in a box, even if
I
it
mean,
helps. It
it
might help
depends
them get
on.
on the radio or get them to a certain point, but then they're in a box, and what do they do from there? So,
Totally depends on what you're wanting to do.
hmm
And I'm not even saying that somebody doing that stuff is inauthentic.
understand.
Like if they dig
Yeah,
it and they like it, cool, go for it.
if it's them,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, but like obviously you, it's people are getting popular in like real time so quickly that maybe people that aren't like creators, like I have a lot of conversations with people. They'll be like, hey, just like so and so's blown up. You should do what they're doing. And I'm like, did you like just listen to what you just said? Like I appreciate the sentiment, but like I'm not gonna just immediately like would dress like them, talk like them, put out the same songs, and like everybody just gets on this sort of bandwagon of like just doing what everybody else is doing, and like no one's really making a decision. I mean, I say I'm using huge generalities here,
understand.
but like a lot of people aren't really making a decision of like whether or not they like it. If a song starts trending, everybody just uses the sound on TikTok, regardless of if they actually like it, but they know they're going to get views if they use it. And then it almost starts to become this like, it becomes so familiar that then everybody just says, like, oh, yeah, I like that. I like that artist because it's just more familiar. And I'm not even, I've been on the receiving end of the virality thing too. So
Mm.
it's like even the Desperado thing with Rihanna,
Mm-hmm.
that went like crazy a few years ago. And like I put out that on another project. I put it on a project with like four other cover songs that I thought there's a couple on that cover thing that like were super dope. And I was like, oh, okay, the Rihanna one. Like, I get it. That's cool. But you can't like chase that because I know it caught something and some really popular people used it for their videos. So everybody else started using it. And I think if you just chase that or become obsessed with it, you can start to lose like why you do it. Also, what inspires you. Because that's not a true representation of like how good something is.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
get.
thankful for it, and it's created like careers for a lot of people. But you just like I mean, I tried my best to keep it in perspective. It's hard, but
I could see that. Yeah, because
yeah.
if this works, so I want to try that again. But also, you're trying to build a sustainable career out of music, not just a one TikTok viral thing or whatever.
Yeah, or if you see somebody that had some success with something, and you don't personally think it's very good, and you're like, well, I mean, I guess I could do something like that. I don't really like what they're doing. Like, it must be working. And I'm like, dude, you don't know how big of a marketing budget they had where they got to
Yeah,
pay
yeah, yeah.
influencers. Like,
Yep.
you don't know.
It's
Some of
hard
it's like a stroke of good luck, too. Like, just
hmm
one person who has a huge following just likes the song, uses it in a video. Now, everybody that follows them uses it in their videos, too, and it blows up. And it doesn't mean that something blowing up is bad. Sometimes it's really great. Sometimes it's not that great. But
Well,
you just
I
have to.
mean, to be fair, just because a 17-year-old puts out a song and a lot of other 15-year-olds like it doesn't necessarily mean that's something that most artists should be chasing. So,
Yeah, it doesn't
you
mean it's
just never
bad
know.
either.
No, no,
It
no.
can be great.
hmm
So
Definitely, but it doesn't
yeah,
mean that it's not for everybody necessarily.
totally.
One other thing that that stood out to me when we were talking about this, you mentioned Weezer, and there is a lot of Weezer flavor, but uh, most of Weezer's albums don't sound the same either. You
No
know what I
doubt.
mean? When you go through their catalog, they don't all sound like Buddy Holly
And he's
or
one of, in my
whatever.
opinion, he's one of the most underrated guitar players.
Hmm.
He's
Just
unbelievable.
because of the parts that they come up with, or
Yeah,
just
and then yes, for sure. And then
okay,
live too. He's freaking
okay,
he's putting in some work. He's impressive. But to be honestly, like sonically, the way all this sounds and the way we approached it is way more. It's got some like Everclear stuff. I guess like song styles. It kind of has this like punk grunge thing, but like drum tones and stuff, like it's straight up like dead 70s
hmm.
rock and roll slash country drums.
I
Um,
got you.
and so it's just like a merging of, obviously I could get like hyper technical with the influences, but people don't really care about that.
Well,
But
and we
whatever you do it and you try to merge all these influences together, and then whatever people think it is, you can't really,
yeah, yeah, you can't change that.
whatever they think.
Um, well, we only got a couple minutes, so I just want to make sure we talk about you got the album release shows coming up with Fort Worth and then in Plano in the next couple days,
Yes, sir.
and album drops 10/10.
Yeah,
Um,
tomorrow. So on the 9th, I've got Fort Worth, Texas, in the Stockyards at Rhinestone Saloon. And then Friday is in Plano, Texas at Love and War. We're gonna play like the whole record too, so it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun. And yeah, and then the whole album comes out on the 10th. It's only an 8-song album though, so uh, 3 or 4 of the singles have already
Four's
been
out. Yeah, I
released.
miscounted earlier.
Yeah.
Um, well, I was just going to make sure I pointed out that all of the AI sections of the song sound really, really badass.
I appreciate that. It was really tough to like blend it in there, without people knowing that it's all just AI.
Uh, sorry.
Hey, feather in my cap, man, because it's like there's no tuning used on this thing.
hmm
Uh, there's like very limited editing. It's like people playing in a room. We recorded all of this stuff in homes, like in houses. So,
Which
uh,
is great because it's not the typical live sounding album necessarily,
no.
but that's cool to hear that it is still played live.
Yeah, and
So,
I mean, we still, I mean, it was still like a produced, recorded
hmm
record and
right.
overdubs and stuff, but it's pretty freaking, it's raw, dude. Like, and
hmm
even I just shuffling it between other music and stuff. I'm like, whew. Uh, it's just not that slick, but it's as much of me as we could possibly get, and as much of the players as we could possibly get without freaking tinkering with it too much. And it's dry and it's just in a small room, and like let it be and let it be fun, let it have the energy. We worked really hard at it, but at the same time, we just let the humans shine. So no AI, no tuning,
No, we talking about practice.
We
That's
talk
the
about
original
practice.
AI. Yeah, Allen
Yeah,
Iverson.
right.
All
Well, it's
right.
crazy. Some of these guys, they're so good and they're such great singers. And then I hear their record and it's like they put all this freaking tuning on it. And those tuning softwares change the tone of the voice. Like it takes all the overtones and undertones and the timbre of the voice and sucks it all into one centralized note. So it's perfect technically. But it gets rid of like the essence of their voice and stuff. And then you get into the thing where they start tuning fiddles and all sorts of stuff.
And here I am loving Hayes Carl
Yeah,
and Levon Helm and things like that.
exactly.
That
Exactly.
where the harmony is not right
But
on,
yeah,
but
but
it's
that
great.
music is timeless because
No
we
doubt
know
about
it's
it.
humans and it speaks to the soul of a human. Not to get too artsy fartsy, but
Well, speaking of time, we're gonna have to get you out of here so you can head. You got a couple more of these things to do. So, but
yeah.
real quick, if we're gonna look forward to, if I gotta, what's the first one I gotta go stream off the new album whenever it comes out? What's the?
Have you heard the whole record? Probably not.
But
Okay, okay, okay. Dude, the first one, I don't know. I mean,
that's a
like
tough question, isn't
Kick
it?
Rocks is pretty dope. I think
Okay.
that that's like a pretty good one to like, oh, okay, all right, we're going for it. Like, let's have some fun. And but even like Longhorns on a Limousine is pretty cool, and that's gonna be so badass live too. Uh, so yeah, that's a good
Well,
one. There's
ma-
some vibey stuff on there too that I was pretty proud of and pretty out there. Uh,
I can tell that just by talking to you about it that you are you're looking forward to everybody hearing it and proud of the album. So and that's the
yeah,
that's the main thing, keeping the main thing, and that's
yeah.
it. You know.
Whatever it does, I don't. I mean, I'm genuinely pretty detached from it. So I have fun making the videos for it and music video. We got a pretty awesome music video lined up for Longhorns on a Limousine, and like a huge rodeo cowboy, about as big as it gets, is going to be in the music video. So it's going to be cool.
Well, all right, man. Well, it was good to talk to you, and looking forward to hearing the album in a couple days.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for
Yeah,
the time. I appreciate. Thanks for listening to it too.
no problem. I'll see you on
Yeah.
the 15th.
Adios, amigo.
Just